Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. The Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 154, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zachy Hassan, and I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
It's going. It's a Saturday morning. It is after Labor Day.
Yeah, I know. Feels like August was a busy month, and we saw quite a bit of each other, didn't we?
We a little too much, frankly.
Yeah. No, I like this little distance between with the microphone between us here.
That's what I think. That's what we've realized. You know, this is good having having this electronic distance.
Yeah. But I have to say, in the moment, it was nice having you down here and in Los Angeles. It was nice coming up to see you in the Bay Area.
I know. That's a rare thing to have that in like a month.
I know.
In 1 month, yeah. That's the nice thing about living in the same state. I've realized is that flying to and fro. It's not like a back-breaking piece of labor. It's like taking a train into the city.
Yeah. It's really. I couldn't believe actually the flight that I took the return flight back home from last weekend. I couldn't believe the ease. It was like the airport was so empty. Walked on a plane, walked off. It was Burbank Airport, which is the easiest airport in the world, and I was home. It was unbelievable. It's like a blink of an eye. So for folks who are wondering what the hell we're talking about, Sean and Brian, our former co-host Sean and Brian, came up and hung out with me for half of the Labor Day weekend. And then for the second half, you walked off the plane and then essentially you drove to the John Williams concert in the Hollywood Bowl. Yeah, for the past several years I've tried to make this an annual thing where I had this moment one year where I went to see John Williams. He plays every last weekend in August, which usually spills into the first weekend of September, and it just like occurred to me, I mean, how lucky are we in this city that not only do we get to hear John Williams' music live, but we get to see it performed by the maestro himself.
I know, it's amazing.
So I'd sort of made this deal with myself that every year he does this, I'm going to go. And just because, I mean, like for me, for you, for so many other people, I mean, his music's been there my whole life, and I can hear the same songs over and over, and they still mean so much to me. So it's been one of these things that I've been so thankful I've been able to go every year. And this year was not only no exception, this one was above and beyond, because typically he has some sort of MC with him. And one year it was Seth MacFarlane, and that was fine. And then I say that because he tended to dominate the experience, which was kind of
he was doing his show tunes and stuff.
He was doing his show tunes, and I was like, oh, this isn't what I paid for. But
see, which that tells you something. Also, in Los Angeles, you can take for granted, like, hey, it's Seth MacFarlane. Get the F off the stage, Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, to boot, John Williams was conducting the show tune, so there was something sort of like. I should have like appreciated how unique the moment was, but I was more like, play Raider, But so then,
and last year was Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant and Julie Andrews was there one year, which I was like, that's Mary freaking Poppins, like it's crazy. So anyway, this year though, I mean, at long last, Steven Spielberg was there, and I think one of the reasons was this was the 40th anniversary of John Williams playing at the Bowl. Conducting at the Bowl, and so it was a special anniversary, and obviously theirs is a special relationship, and I gotta say it was pretty magical having Mr. Spielberg come out and talk about their working experience, and then having Williams play, gosh, I mean, what did he play? He played Schindler's List, and he played a thing from Lincoln, and he played the opening of Last Crusade, where young Indy's on the train. And what was really cool about that was Spielberg introduced that moment without that whole sequence without music, right? Because he wanted you to appreciate how John gives that scene its soul. And what was funny though was Spielberg was standing on stage as it was playing that sequence with nothing but sound effects,
right?
And like awkward efforts from the actors that were clearly ADR, like as they would leap from the train going like, and things like that. And it was funny because everyone was kind of amused by it, and Spielberg was quiet, and then he was like, "You don't remember this scene being this long, do you?" And everybody starts laughing, and then it's quiet again, and it was really interesting seeing Steven Spielberg uncomfortable
Sure.
on stage with his work because it was his unfinished work, and then at one point it's quiet again, and he goes, "It's starting to feel like a Sundance film, isn't it?" And then there's like a beat, and he goes, "I mean, I like Sundance films."
It's really funny.
It was really funny. But then, of course, they play it again. Williams plays the music over it. And there was another live to picture scoring sequence for the last 15 minutes of E.T. And, I sat there, and I wasn't thinking about this, but I was feeling this. But, I mean, look, we've talked about this before. That was the first movie I saw in the theater. That cemented what filmmaking looks like and what movie scores sound like for me. And I have to admit, I got pretty teary-eyed, actually, watching it, seeing Williams conduct it, and seeing Spielberg sitting on a chair on stage watching his own film get scored again. It was truly a magical moment I won't forget.
Yeah, I was speaking with Sean on the phone yesterday, and he mentioned that to me. He said he looked over, he knows obviously how important E.T. is. He says, I looked over at Brian, and I could see him getting a little misty, and Sean kind of smiled too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So, him telling me about Spielberg playing E.T., I mean, it reminded me, because I got to attend the concert last year, and I remember when, not Spielberg playing E.T., sorry, when John Williams played E.T., when he played it last year also, the E.T. music, and that was like oh, sweet,
Yeah. Last year's was a really good one.
He played Superman. I got to see John Williams conduct the Superman theme. And that was a bucket list moment for me.
Yeah. So, well, hey, open invitation next year.
Yeah, I'm hoping, man. I've said before, I wanna bring my kids, and because they love John Williams, and it's kind of appropriate because this past week I watched this documentary called Score, a film music documentary.
Yeah, I'd heard of it, and tell me what you thought.
Well, I thought it was really good, and I watched it with the boys, and I was like, this is one of those moments where I'm like, these are my kids, because I'm like, hey guys, we're gonna watch a movie about how they make music for movies, and they're like, oh great, and they all sit down, and for 90 minutes they sat and watched this documentary where a bunch of talking heads are talking about music and movies,
And they're like Nelson in Branson, Missouri, like Andy Williams.
Yeah, that's really
Thomas Newman.
It was literally like that. It's like, oh, that's Hans Zimmer. He did that. Like they know that,
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and the documentary, I think it's good. I think it's a good overview. So if you're like a film nerd, it's probably not going to give you anything new.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the intent. I think it's meant to, like, we take for granted how awesome film music is.
Yes.
But that's kind of on us, because I think most people don't think, like, we take for granted, like, oh, I just got the soundtrack to Avengers Infinity War, and I'm going to listen to that now. Mm-hmm. And we sort of take for granted, like, well, that's not a thing the vast majority of the movie-going public does.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ooh, they put out the complete score for, Last Crusade. Ooh, I need that. Well, again, that's us.
Yes. And I ended up watching it as well, and there was a moment where you see them conducting Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Mm-hmm. And I love that score. There was like a year at work where I would listen to that when I was working a lot. So I was like, oh, I know this. It was like watching Led Zeppelin record, Houses of the Holy on film. And I was like, oh, it's funny. Like, yeah, I bet very few people are recognizing this right now and appreciating seeing it happen.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. But, I totally agree with you. Like, it's not anything new to people who know a lot about this or are looking for like huge insights, but at the same time it's sort of a great observation. Like, you get dropped into these moments with these people who are just sort of like talking you through what they're doing, and that's really fascinating. And I think it would be fascinating to whoever that sounds fascinating to it right now. That'd be fascinating too. Yeah. And I just I think it answers some questions people who like us listen to film scores our whole lives maybe have wondered. One of the things I thought was kind of interesting was that I always wondered if they rehearse and how much rehearsal time do they have, and it turns out they don't. Like, these musicians are just that talented that this film music is dropped in front of them, and they look at it for the first time, play it, and that is what could end up in the film. Like, that's just how good these guys are. So it's you get like little glimpses and insights into those sorts of things that, you know, people like us find kind of fascinating.
Yeah, and I think that tells you something about just how gifted you have to be able to read music and give it life, right? Because different musicians are gonna interpret it slightly differently.
Right.
It is a performance, and so to be part of this orchestra, I was thinking about that. I was like, we sort of look at the orchestra as this sort of this amorphous blob. Those of us who are certainly not familiar with the vagaries of each instrument, we just look at it like, oh, it's just this thing. And yet, for the individual people in there, they're all part of making this machine work. Mm-hmm. And that, that's their identity. Like, I'm the second violin, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I always find that sort of fascinating, because we're like, oh, John Williams. It's like, yeah, but all those people are there to interpret John Williams' music.
Yeah, in particular with John Williams' music, where he's a little more heavy on different instruments supporting one another. Like some orchestras, it feels like every instrument's playing the same notes, and it's bombastic and it's fun, but what I love about John Williams so much is the flutes are playing counter to whatever the violins are doing at the moment. It creates this really interesting, rich tapestry.
Yeah.
Sonically. And so, those guys they can't follow the other people. Like, they're doing what they've got to be doing, and they've got to be doing it well.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Moving on, we do have some listener letters real quick about our previous episode, and this is from Mike Zummo, who says, in reference to, I think we were talking about sort of the dearth of new modern franchises, or like not so much franchises, but like new original movies that are the equivalent of like Die Hard or Speed or what have you, right? Mm-hmm. And you mentioned Skyscraper, and I said, well, The Rock is like his own franchise. Mm-hmm. And Mike says, I think The Rock is his own genre more than franchise.
Ah.
And he says, I base this on the fact that my local Walmart has a section of the movie wall dedicated just to him. And I said, yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yeah, I agree. That makes sense, because and his movies tend to feel similar in a sort of way.
Well, it is the closest equivalent I can think of is Schwarzenegger in his prime.
Yeah. And in terms of tone, like, The Rock, like, it's not going to be necessarily like a straightforward, serious, Die Hard sort of action film, but it's not going to be like a B movie either. You know what I mean? Like, it's somewhere in the middle.
Well,
it's a little campy, but it's...
And just like Arnold, it doesn't matter what the movie is, Arnold will be Arnold in it.
Yes.
Right. So Kindergarten Cop is a family comedy with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
Yeah.
And I think Dwayne Johnson is like that, where you look at like Baywatch and Rampage and even Skyscraper, which admittedly I have not seen Skyscraper, but in all three of those, Dwayne Johnson is essentially playing the Dwayne Johnson character.
Right.
So he is the closest equivalent we have to, and I remember back in The Rundown, which is one of those, that's like one of those, it feels like kind of an underrated, underseen Dwayne Johnson movies, right? Because that's when he was still The Rock.
Right.
Like, being credited as, And there's the scene where, in the very beginning, where he passes Schwarzenegger, like, going into this club. Mm-hmm. And Schwarzenegger's like, have fun, I think he says.
Yeah.
And that, a lot of people at the time were like, oh, it's like the passing of the torch. And it does feel like that torch has been passed.
Yeah. I can't remember if I mentioned this on the podcast or in real life, but I caught a bit of that on cable the other day.
The Rundown.
And, The Rundown. And it is noticeable how far The Rock has come in his
as an
ability.
actor.
Yeah, you can see sort of his old ticks. I mean, we talk about this with George Clooney too a little
Yeah.
bit, where he used to kind of bob his head a lot and look down, and you can see The Rock's ticks.
The eyebrow.
Yeah, and just sort of he speaks in a very staccato manner also.
Yes.
And it's just amazing now when you see what he's doing in his latest works, and you're just like, oh wow, this guy really he worked hard, he wanted to get better, and he did.
Yeah, very true. I mean, there's a whole slew of wrestlers who never got past the rundown.
Yeah, sure.
And it's because of that they didn't do the work. I mean, clearly Dwayne Johnson, as one of the biggest names in the world right now, even when a movie like Skyscraper underperforms, I don't think anybody's like, oh well, The Rock is finished.
No.
And he's gotten there, by sheer gumption.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Mike, for that. I agree with that. This is from Rob Kelly, and Rob says this is about what we were talking about vis-a-vis the fourth Star Trek movie, which is in crisis.
Right.
It
sounds like it could be the title.
Star Trek in crisis. Yeah, it's Chris Crisis.
Chris Crisis?
It's a crisis.
Oh yes,
It's a crisis of crisscrossing Chris's. I'm gonna keep.
Now that sounds like a novel. That sounds like a Star Trek novel you pick up.
So he says, let's see. I want to get my thoughts out on the Star Trek 4 news. He says, I'm conflicted about this because I really like this new cast, and as Zachy mentioned, Paramount got hugely lucky. They found a group of actors capable of filling the little black boots of the original cast, something I thought was impossible, so they shouldn't blow up this franchise over a few bucks lightly. That said, I thought the story for Trek 4, Kirk meets his dad via time travel, sounded just awful. I hate this whole daddy issues thing that has taken over virtually every hero's backstory in the last decade. That is true, by the way. Like when Rob mentioned that, I was like, that's kind of become a thing. I was okay with it as Kirk's motivation in the first film, but now he's going to get to meet his dad. Come on. So what I would love to see is Paramount ditch that story, take the money they were going to spend on Hemsworth, who frankly does not deserve a huge check. Look at the box office for his non-Thor movies as evidence, and give it to Pine. Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I've said this before. I don't think Chris Hemsworth is particularly value added with Star Trek. I don't think any non-Trek person is going to be like, "Oh, Chris Hemsworth is in it." Well, then let's go.
I don't think it'll be substantial, but I do wonder actually if it would add a couple people. I really do. Just coming high off of Avengers stuff.
Yeah, but
I recognize in a movie I might not have otherwise seen. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel like I think Chris Hemsworth as Thor equals value.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, because case in point, we love that movie Rush, the Ron Howard movie.
Yeah, ain't nobody watched it.
No one saw it.
Yeah, and I mean, you go down the line, Black Hat, In the Heart of the Ocean, or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Rush, et cetera, et cetera. No, it's not like he added value to Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because now that I think about it, I remember people saying they liked it, but that was all just film journalists.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to have Chris Hemsworth play Thor in Star Trek 4,
yeah,
then you pay him Thor money.
Yeah. I want to be clear. When I say liked it, they were Chris Hemsworth's performance in Ghostbusters. That's what I was specifically referring to.
Not the movie itself.
Like being the standout, yeah. And
although even that, I mean, that movie, it's funny how just for all of the rending of garments that happened for like the 3 years, leading up to its release, how it's like within 60 days of it leaving theaters, it's like nobody, like it's just faded.
I know. Is that worth all the energy?
Was it worth all of it? Exactly.
I know.
So yeah, I can't disagree with Rob. I mean, if it's a choice, well, the Chris Pine is the Chris you need. He's the Chris we've been waiting for.
That. Yeah, and he's right when he talks about filling the little black boots. I mean, yeah, it's amazing that they actually created a whole ensemble that everybody has like gotten behind.
Yeah.
So, like, don't screw that up.
It should not have worked. Yeah. But, I mean, tangentially related to that, on Star Trek Discovery, the TV series on CBS All Access, they just announced about a month or so ago that they have a new Spock on that show.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if you heard this. Yeah, so Anson Mount, will be appearing as Captain Pike. Captain Christopher Pike was played by Bruce Greenwood in these new films. He was played by Jeffrey Hunter originally. You know Anson Mount, right? Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know, he was Black Bolt in that Inhumans TV series, which nobody watched, the Marvel series. And he was also on that railroad show. What was that called? On AMC.
Oof.
You know what I'm talking about?
Nah. There was the Wild West show they had. Is that what it was?
It was crap. This is gonna bug me. Hell on Wheels. That's what it's called.
Yes.
Hell on Wheels. He was also the love interest in the Britney Spears movie Crossroads.
Oh, see, now you're speaking my language. That's I can place it now.
But so he's Captain Pike. So once Captain Pike showed up, you don't watch the show, but the very last episode of the season, we see the Enterprise show up. And that's where it ends. We're like, oh my gosh, it's the Enterprise. And this is a series that's set like 10 years before the original show. So obviously, you say, well, we're going to see Spock because canon-wise, and Brian, I mean, Star Trek canon is very important.
Oh, right, yeah.
Spock was on the Enterprise. So the actor they have cast is Ethan Peck. Ethan Peck, who I have not seen in anything, but if you Google him, you can absolutely see him as Spock. But more interesting to me, and maybe to you, is he is the grandson of Gregory Peck. So he is movie royalty.
Yeah. You know? Well, hey, it runs in his blood.
Yeah, and if you look at his picture, you can absolutely see his grandpa in his face.
That's cool. Man,
Yeah.
That's a movie I've been meaning to rewatch for years now. I gotta get around to that.
To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Do you remember a few years ago there was the controversy over that supposed sequel?
Yes.
Which turned out to be an earlier draft.
Yes.
As a whole thing. I mean, I feel bad because that was, essentially like they just dug around in Harper Lee's drawer and they found this rejected early draft and they're like, oh, it's the sequel to Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, which is... Yeah,
this is shitty, you know?
Someone who has no say in the matter to put out... imagine like George Lucas putting out his first draft of Star Wars and calling it something else and no one liking it. And it's like, well, these things take time. That's why, no first draft is ever published.
Yeah, well, I mean, now that's no longer the case.
Yeah.
Now anything gets put out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that I agree. Chris Pine was doing press for this new movie he's in, Outlaw King, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And so they obviously the question of Star Trek came up, and he's like, look, I want to do it. I'm just I'm waiting for the phone call. So I hope it does happen, and I think my guess is that it probably will happen. But we shall see.
Yeah.
We do have more headlines to discuss, though, so we'll talk about those after we take this little break. And we're back, and Brian, lots of headlines to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
So some sad news just to start things off. Burt Reynolds has passed away.
Yeah. This is, and he was only 82.
82, which it's that's my wife said the same thing. Oh, that's young. I'm like, well, I mean, it's not young, you know.
It isn't. I mean, it isn't. Let's just say that it isn't. But at the same time,
it's old enough. It's old enough where that is a possibility.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
But maybe that also has to do with seeing him recently and knowing that he was going to be in the Tarantino film that's shooting right now. You're like, oh well, he's doing stuff. He's active.
Yes.
So it comes as a surprise.
It does, and it's I don't think I've seen a cause of death released.
I feel like I remember seeing cardiac arrest, and I don't want to say that officially, but that was something I feel like I saw on my phone. But I haven't seen it anywhere else, actually.
Let me Google that, actually. Google says cardiac arrest. So
okay.
So yeah, I mean that's just it's weird because for me, and I'm sure this is the case for you too. Like Burt Reynolds is just one of those people who is always part of the landscape.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Even though I feel like I missed his
Yes.
heyday, so to speak.
That's it. Well, and I wanted to quote a tweet from my friend Matt Linton, who's on Twitter at A Boy Called Monk, and I think this sums up certainly my thoughts, and I'm fairly certain, Brian, this sums up your thoughts too. He says, "I'm just old enough to know Burt Reynolds as a huge movie star, and just young enough to have not seen many of his films."
That's exactly where I feel like I'm sitting.
Yeah. Because he had this run from like 77 to 82, which has actually been unmatched, where he was the number one star in the world every single year for 5 years.
Wow.
Which, I was trying to, because he passed away Thursday afternoon, we found out, and I was in my class Thursday night, right? And these are mostly college freshmen, some of them are high school kids. I said, "Oh, Burt Reynolds died," and they're like, "We don't know who that is."
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to explain it to him. I'm like, he was, and he was like Harrison Ford before Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting. I'm sort of looking at his credits now. I mean, these are all movies I know. You know, like Smokey and the Bandit and
Cannonball Run. That was
yeah, and Best Little Whorehouse in Texas and all these things. Like, I know these movies, but I never have seen them. But I do know him from Boogie Nights, of course.
Sure.
And I'm looking also, it's interesting, all the things that he turned down. Did you see this? Like, he turned down the role of Han Solo,
James Bond,
John McClane in Die Hard, and Richard Gere's part in Pretty Woman.
In Pretty Woman, yeah, and Michael Corleone, apparently.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean,
now,
definitely a legend.
Absolutely a legend, and again, he was an artifact of a specific era. Mm-hmm. I don't know if a Burt Reynolds could be a star today in the same way as he was in his prime. I mean, I remember when he was on a sitcom on CBS called Evening Shade.
Yes, yeah,
and it was funny because at the time, that was kind of a big deal, but I wasn't. Like, I didn't process it as a big deal, but you realize in hindsight, that's kind of a huge deal. Like doing like a star of his stature doing a sitcom,
Yeah.
But like I said, we're in that stage now where a lot of these people are hitting the age where it's not entirely out of the ordinary to start hearing that they're passing away.
Yeah. Which you may have already mentioned it, but Deliverance.
Deliverance, of course.
Have you seen Deliverance?
I have seen Deliverance. John Boorman.
I've never seen it.
It is very good.
Yeah, it's another one of those ones that sort of feels like it should be on your list, and I just somehow haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, I mean, certainly for me, that's one of those movies you watch it once to get it, like, to check the box.
Sure.
Because it is good, but it's not. You're not like, oh, let's put on Deliverance. It's a Deliverance night.
Right.
Let's stay in and watch Ned Beatty squeal like a pig.
Exactly. I mean, I all I know about it is that it's kind of an intense experience.
It's very intense, but it's absolutely worth watching. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
There will never be another Burt Reynolds. Moving on, totally tangential, but Burt Reynolds turned down James Bond, and now another talent has turned down James Bond.
Yeah.
So this is something we talked about it a couple episodes ago. Danny Boyle was going to direct James Bond 25. We were quite excited about that, and I think I have a feeling you were expecting this. I know I was. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. Mm-hmm. Right, and that shoe has dropped. Danny Boyle has decided he will not direct James Bond 25 because of quote-unquote creative differences.
Yeah, I
old chestnut
saw this coming. Well, let's put it this way. I didn't think it was going to happen, let's say, but I am not surprised. That's more like
you didn't think he would drop out, but now that he has, it doesn't shock you.
Yes. Okay. I just don't see his style fitting something that tends to not stray too far from its classical style.
Yeah.
And that's just not who Danny Boyle is.
Yeah, and kind of interesting because he essentially got involved at the prodding of Daniel Craig, but it sure seems like his departure was also at the prodding of Daniel Craig. I think him and Daniel Craig sort of hit an impasse. Mm-hmm. because there was a statement that Eon Productions put out, and it was Barbara Broccoli and Daniel Craig saying, "Yeah, it's not going to work out." And I thought I found that somewhat interesting. I have no insight into how these Bond movies work, but I do find that very telling that Daniel Craig, he's got one foot out the door. This is his last movie, but he's still like, no, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and didn't it have, or the rumor was that it had something to do with casting?
Yeah, supposedly about casting the villain that Danny Boyle wanted X actor. His name escapes me, but that actor was deemed not, zazzy enough for what they were looking for, I guess.
Emo Phillips?
Right? I want to see the Bond movie with Emo Phillips as the villain.
I gotta do too.
I'll pay extra for that. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed, but I'm also like, I don't know what a Danny Boyle James Bond movie looks like, but I have a feeling it looks more like a James Bond movie than a Danny Boyle movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
I mean, you can't imagine he's going to go in and try to break everything.
Yeah, so I mean, to some extent, it's like, well, if given that, it's like, would the franchise really be served by Danny Boyle doing like a plug and play James Bond movie? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I say this as a huge fan, but I'm just like, even the Sam Mendes films, which are good, I think Skyfall's better than Spectre, but I mean, did he add anything substantially different than, say, Martin Campbell?
Right. Agreed.
Right? I mean, there's bits and pieces of them that are quite artistic, but I mean, a Bond movie is a Bond movie, and that's what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. You just need like a solid director, and there are a lot of solid directors.
Although I think the movie now is supposed to come out next year. Now, obviously, I'm guessing it's been officially delayed to 2020, which would, if I'm not mistaken, make Daniel Craig the longest-serving actor in the role. 14 years.
Wow.
Right? Because if we say because Casino Royale is 06, so yeah, 14 years.
Wow.
So that's kind of a neat accomplishment. Even if this is his last movie, which would be less movies than Roger Moore or Sean Connery did, it would be the longest time.
That's pretty amazing, especially for someone who came into the role and people were skeptical.
I know, right? And that's seriously that to me, if when I think back on it, because there were websites, Craig not Bond, and Daniel Craig isn't Bond, and all these ridiculous petitions and things. And I feel like that was my first exposure to just like the abject shittiness of online fandom.
Yeah.
Because and nowadays it's calcified and turned into something even shittier and more terrible. But that was the first time I was like, God, y'all suck.
Yeah. I call him Gamblor.
That's right. There's your Simpsons reference, folks. Yeah. Take your shot.
But I saw that Danny Boyle, what he is moving on to, I can't remember the title, but it's the synopsis is basically a guy goes into a coma and wakes up in a world that doesn't know the Beatles music. And so he passes off the Beatles music as his own.
Wow.
And I think that A, sounds hilarious, and B, sounds like a Danny Boyle movie. You know what I mean? Like, that's perfect. Perfect.
That sounds entirely, yeah, like a Danny Boyle movie. I'm curious though, who do you find to replace him? Because once you announce a big name, it's like the Peyton Reed situation, on Ant-Man. Obviously, you announce, Edgar Wright is doing Ant-Man. You're like, wow, and then he leaves, and they're like, all right, well, we got Peyton Reed, and Peyton Reed is a fine director. Mm-hmm. He's done good movies, but I mean, he's not Edgar Wright.
Right. But it all worked out. You just have to endure the months leading up where people are like, what?
Yeah, that's right. Well, so the people they're looking at, by the way, S.J. Clarkson, for one, who is currently signed to do the fourth Star Trek movie, which we just talked about.
I thought it sounded familiar. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, how Star Trek 4 works. I don't know if Chris Pine doesn't do it. Do they just not make it? Do they recast? I don't know. But for the time being, she's signed for Star Trek. So I'm assuming if Star Trek moves forward, she's not in play for Bond. But she's somebody they're looking at. And then the guy who did this upcoming movie with McConaughey, White Boy Rick.
Okay, I've seen ads for that. I don't. know what that is.
Yeah, Jan Demange is the director, and also Bart Layton from American Animals. So there's a few. I mean, again, nobody of Danny Boyle's stature.
Right. What about Jan de Bont?
Yeah, he's not doing anything.
Bring back Jan de Bont. Yes, yes. He Tomb Raider did not go well, but he did Speed.
The guy who directed Speed should always have, a directing gig waiting for him.
I feel like he needs another shot. You know what he needs to do? He needs to make like a really slick, like $20-30 million thriller or something, and then let everyone go like, oh yeah, Jan de Bont. He shot some of the most beautiful action films of like the late 80s, early 90s.
Well, but he is still DPing.
Oh, is he? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so maybe he's just like, and maybe that's just what he prefers.
Yeah, that could be.
Now, by the way, Daniel Craig, before he even starts filming Bond, he has this new movie coming out called Knives Out. Or rather, he's filming a movie called Knives Out, which is directed by, speaking of toxic fandom.
And Knives Out.
Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson. So this is, I thought this was a Netflix movie, but I don't think that's the case. I might be getting... There's been such a slew of like Netflix signings, I forget who's what.
There's a lot of Netflix crap happening right now.
Yeah, Henry Cavill's doing a Netflix series.
Yeah.
The Witcher, I think it's called?
Yeah, based on a video game, I believe.
Which, see, this is how I know I'm getting old, because I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I actually, I would not have known that, except at lunch yesterday, someone was talking about it.
See, that's the stage we're at in our lives.
Yeah, and I just nod my head and go, uh-huh.
See, and this is funny, actually, by the way, because speaking of Henry Cavill doing The Witcher, I read that, and I'm like, all right, cool. But, you look at some of the Twitter twaddle online, and it's like, oh, this is like a step backward for him in his career. And I'm like, why? Why is that? I don't think it is.
We don't know?
It's not a demotion, right?
I don't think so.
Well, and it's this whole idea of like, oh, because after Mission Impossible Fallout, he should be moving on to the A-list and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but he's not an A-list actor.
Yeah, but like, A-list actors are making streaming shows.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, people just gotta chill out.
But it's like, even like somebody like Henry Cavill, it's like, look at the movies he's done. How many of them have been smash successes because of him?
Yeah, right.
Right? Now, that being said, how many people are going to watch The Witcher just because it's on Netflix and it's available and it has a pre-existing fan base? That seems like a better move for his career.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Those people, they got too much time on their hands.
Yeah, come on, Brian. So that's a come in, and then like I said, the Knives Out, which is not, as far as I know, a Netflix movie, but Daniel Craig is keeping busy. Yeah,
well, speaking of Netflix movies, Michael Bay is directing a Netflix movie.
Is that right?
That's true. It's going to be the most expensive original movie they've done so far.
Of course it is.
Of course. And I bring this up because, I finally got to make a transition almost as good as Zacky's. I just didn't have like a great pun or anything to work with.
That was goddamn impressive.
And B, I thought this story was hilarious because this is true. This is what we know. Michael Bay is making a movie for Netflix starring Ryan Reynolds. But for some reason, a rumor started on Twitter that it was being broadcast that they were making some sort of heisty action film, but in actuality, they were making a live-action Thundercats movie.
So that's what people thought.
This is what people, for some reason, this past weekend thought and were running with. And this, I think the reason was they were shooting in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
And apparently some source who is associated with Abu Dhabi Productions who leaked that Simon Pegg was going to be in The Force Awakens. Okay. So he has a track record of successful leaks. He was like, Thundercats movie. So everyone's like, whoa, Thundercats movie.
So wait, hold on. So it's a movie about a heist starring Ryan Reynolds.
And that was what people believed to be the cover for a Thundercats movie that they were actually shooting.
But hold on. Okay, so okay, a couple things. First of all, I don't think predicting Simon Pegg was going to be in The Force Awakens that doesn't make you Kreskin.
Yeah. right.
Because that's something like I could have predicted that, right? And I would have had if anybody could have predicted that.
Yes, but was it IGN saw this, trusted this guy, ran with it, and so I mean, we should know this story becomes much funnier when you know that is absolutely not true.
There
They are
is
not
no
making a
Thundercats movie. And here's the thing, Brian, and this is, I mean, you and I know this. If they were making a Thundercats movie, they would announce, hey, we're making a Thundercats movie.
You would think.
You don't film that in secrecy and say, hey, psych, we filmed this movie in secret. Ryan Reynolds is Panthro.
Right.
You'd
right.
think I would have said he'd be Lion-O, but I want to mix things up a little bit.
I was anticipating that. So
Go with the unexpected. But anyway, my point is, that's something that would be in Variety. That would be on Deadline. That would be, Michael Bay is making a Thundercats movie. That wouldn't be. That's not something you say in secret.
yeah, no, I agree. Normally we don't talk about rumors too much on here because they're not true, but for some reason this one just tickled me. I just thought it was so absurd, and that people were running with it. And then basically it's the movie that is being shot, regardless of what it is written by the Deadpool 1 and 2 writers, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick.
Sure.
And basically, I forget who it was. One of them just tweeted, no. Oh, Rhett Reese just tweeted,
No.
So it turns out what they're actually making is a movie called Six Underground, which is about 6 billionaires who fake their own deaths and form an elite team to take down bad guys.
An elite team of Thundercats, Brian.
It could be. It could be.
You know what's funny is that it feels like there's 15 people that are really anticipating a Thundercats movie, and the rest of the world could not give two shits.
Right.
I really it's very weird to me because I encounter this all the time. I'm like, oh, when are they making a Thundercats movie? I'm like, nobody cares about a Thundercats movie. I might take some shit for that, but I think that's true.
Yeah.
Thundercats is not He-Man. And even He-Man is like, man, that's like borderline right now.
Okay, you're saying what I was holding back on saying. Because I think a lot of people, that every 2 or 3 years that comes up.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know.
There's like a window that maybe is like a crack open at this point.
Yeah. I mean, like something like Transformers, they're just like trucks that turn into robots. That's evergreen, people.
Well, not just that. I mean, it has remained evergreen because they still make the toys.
Oh, see that? I don't know. But with He-Man, I feel like there is a limited amount of people, and like that age group has its limits of people.
Yeah, I mean,
that.
I still think there's a great movie to be made from He-Man. And, with that in mind, I'm sure you could make a good movie out of Thundercats. I think it would be harder to make a good movie out of Thundercats because the cartoon was shit, y'all.
Oh, hot take.
Sorry, hate to break it to you, but it's just not good. But my
and
point
it would
is,
look ridiculous as live action. Let's be honest.
it would. Here's the
It'd be
thing
like
about
cats
Thundercats.
with swords. The
Here's the
musical
thing
Cats.
about Thundercats that always bugged me, even as a kid. Okay, so you've got the group there, right? And you've got Lion-O, and he's like a lion person, and you've got Panthro, and he's like a panther person. You got Tigra, he's a tiger person, and I'm like, what are all the other tiger people called? What are all the other panther people called?
right.
You know what I mean? Like it would make more sense if they have like regular names. Like, hi, I'm John Panthro from the Chicago Panthros.
right.
That would make more sense to me. So that always bugged me as a kid. But anyway, the Thundercats movie, I don't know. It's also, I didn't realize we were going to do like Thundercats Corner, but they got this new cartoon coming up. I think it's going to be on Cartoon Network called Thundercats Roar.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right? And it's like a comedic take on it, and it's all like, they're all funny looking, whatever.
Like cute looking, right?
It looks like a Gumball or something, that cartoon?
Yeah. Gumball's funny, by the way.
Might be by the same people. And I saw that, and I'm like, well, I don't know who this is appealing to. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, it's going to appeal to, like, the vast majority of kids who could not give two shits about Thundercats.
Yeah. And then a bunch of, 39-year-olds are going to be really upset about it.
Yeah, and you know what? What aren't... I was thinking about this, too. Think about this, because I've seen this online, because they got a new She-Ra cartoon coming out on Netflix. It's in Netflix. And She-Ra is like a little kid, and it's like kid animation. And I looked at that, and I'm like, all right, whatever, right? I'm not the audience, but there's people online who are real upset. And I was thinking about this. When your dad was 39...
Yes.
Do you think he was sitting there like, oh, they're rebooting? I don't know. What did they reboot? Like,
I don't know. Captain Kangaroo or something. I
Yeah,
don't
whatever. You know what I mean? Like, do you it's like what has changed where we have time and energy to worry about stuff like this?
You know, it's somewhat related, and this is completely different, but I think about this every time I pay someone with Venmo. Because I think about my dad when he was my age and he probably went out to some business dinner and had to plunk down his credit card or his company card or paid in cash from his money clip that his dad gave him or something. And then now when I pay people, I pull out this little app and I pay someone, $30. And then I'm like, okay, birthday cake emoji, smiling kitty cat. I'm like paying with these like silly cartoon characters. And I'm like, there's part of me is amused by it. And part of me is like, what would my dad wouldn't have done this. Yeah.
My point is this: if you are a 35-year-old man worried about what a cartoon character for girls looks like, you're not busy enough.
Yes, and I will say it's still, I still care about Star Wars. You know what I mean? So those things are there are things that I care about. But on the other hand, sometimes you just have to realize that not everything is for you anymore. And this is being aimed at a new audience. And so they are trying to do the best they can to bring in new people into the fold, right?
Yeah. So all y'all Thundercats fans and y'all She-Ra fans, just the thing you like is still there. Put that on and be done with it.
Yeah.
There. And that was Thundercats Corner here in the Movie Film Podcast. Now, real quick, I wanted to talk about this. I don't know if we actually talked about this before, but the Oscars had announced plans to add a new category for Best Popular Film, which I don't understand the intent behind this, to be honest.
I feel like, this goes all the way back to 2008 when Dark Knight wasn't nominated for Best Picture and people were sort of feeling like it maybe should have. So it feels like they've been compensating for that ever since, right? Then the next year they decided instead of having 5 nominees for Best Picture, we'll have 10, or at least up to 10.
Yeah, and that's how you got like Avatar nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, exactly. And then so that helps a little bit, but at the same time there's also this disparity between what gets nominated for Best Picture and what people actually go to see.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Or earns money at the box office, becomes the biggest hits of the year. And so obviously these Marvel movies are gargantuan. Like everybody watches them, everybody likes them, but there's no way to necessarily celebrate them.
Yes.
At the end of the year, which I'm sure they want to bring in Marvel audiences to the waning ratings of the Oscars. So it seems I can understand what they're going for.
So Brian, the goal is people aren't watching the Oscars. This is like we got to send Homer Simpson into space to bring up the ratings.
Yes, this is the third Simpsons reference. But you are absolutely correct. Yeah, they're like, how do we get the common man to watch the Oscars again? And I don't think it was a great idea because it just feels like if you're nominated for that and not other things, you're like, gee, thanks.
Doesn't this feel like one of those things where they're like, hey, let's do this thing and we can honor the big popular movies. And you feel like they make the decision and then somebody's like, so wait, the year Black Panther comes out, you want to create a separate but equal category?
I didn't even think about that. That's brilliant, by the way. That's
right.
Yeah. So
there's like somebody comes in like, wait a minute, do you guys realize what you've done?
Yeah, and you know what? That was the film I think that as soon as this was announced, most people thought about.
Yes,
and you got to imagine if it got nominated for Best Popular Film but not Best Picture, there's going to just be thoughts. There's going to be a lot of thoughts, Yes. And I'm sure the Academy was like, let's avoid these thoughts.
This is the thing. Okay, so what I've read is that, specifically as it pertains to Black Panther, Disney/Marvel are serious. They want to push it for Best Picture.
Yeah.
But here's the other thought. I'm like, is Black Panther Best Picture material?
Based on past Oscars, not necessarily.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll be curious to see what does get nominated for Best Picture this year. I'm not even I don't even know what's coming up these next few months. There's a world I can see where it does happen, but it typically no. Like, it's just a great superhero movie. But I can see, though, because it also seemed like a personal film for Coogler.
Sure.
You know, and it touches on themes that I think apply to our real world more than, say, something like Thor Ragnarok.
Sure, sure.
So I can see why that's something to consider, for sure.
Okay, you know, I can see a scenario where it gets nominated.
Yes.
I can't see it winning Best Picture. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious. And then I also feel like whatever does get nominated will be, you know, we'll compare notes with the films. Like, well, this got nominated and this didn't.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a very good point. So anyway, so they announced, we're going to do the best popular movie, and then after basically just enduring scorn and giggles for the better part of a month, they're like, we're actually not going to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So they very quickly reversed course.
Yeah, yeah. They're a business, right? Like, I mean, they've got to figure out business is not good. So
yes.
They've got to figure out how to turn it around, and I can understand why they're trying things.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So I think it was smart to not do that. I just think, honestly, I don't think people care about the Oscars anymore. I think in the age of time shifted viewing, it just doesn't mean what it used to.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I watch it just because I always have, but I don't know if anybody else does.
Yeah, it's. I mean, certainly my anecdotal experience just talking to students over the course of the last, however long I've been teaching, a long time, 13 years. It feels like every year people are less interested.
They didn't have any investment in seeing if Manchester by the Sea won.
They really didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I mean, I think. I haven't looked at the ratings, but I would imagine that the last time you really saw the symmetry between popular and critical taste was like Titanic.
Probably, yeah.
Right? Maybe Lord of the Rings, right? Because Return of the King won Best Picture. Mm-hmm. We forget that.
Yeah, and I mean, think way back. Like, Raiders of the Lost Ark was nominated for Best Picture. Star Wars was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, somewhere the quote-unquote popular film stopped.
The Fugitive was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
We forget about that. I was also, speaking of the Oscars, I was also thinking about how, you're talking about Burt Reynolds and Boogie Nights, and, that was the same year that Robin Williams won for Good Will Hunting.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember at the time it was kind of, Burt Reynolds was favored to win, and then Robin Williams won, and it occurs to me, I'm like, wow, both of those guys are gone now.
Oh, it didn't even occur to me as you were telling that story.
Yeah, weird, right?
That is weird.
Yeah, it's sad. But yeah, so the popular film award category is not going to be there. So what that means is, Brian, most probably Captain Marvel, Marvel's big movie for next February or March, will not be nominated for the Best Popular Film Award.
Could have been. Way to go, guys.
Way to screw the pooch. Yeah, so when does this one come out? March. So basically it's in kind of the Black Panther slot, and they just released the first pictures from this.
Yeah. It was funny the way that it was announced. I think Brie Larson tweeted something about breaking the internet, and I was like, oh, cool, a trailer. And I was like, no, pictures. Yeah,
it's like oh. All right, Brie.
Okay.
Come on, Brie. Friend of the show, Brie Larson, by the way.
Yeah.
They did release the very first pictures of her on set, and they showed the Skrulls, the villains, which you would have no expectation or experience with. But if you're a Marvel Comics fan, the Skrulls are a big deal because they go back in the comics all the way to like 1962.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're the villains, and we saw Jude Law as Mar-Vell, who is he's the original Captain Marvel in the Marvel Comics.
Oh, interesting.
Not the DC Comics. The DC Comics original Captain Marvel is now Shazam, played by Zachary Levi, whose movie comes out like a month after this Captain Marvel movie.
Right.
I'm confused.
I mean, I just roll with it.
No, but this is a big deal because it is the first Marvel movie that is about a solo female character. Mm-hmm. And we saw her being teased at the very, very end of Infinity War, so we know that this movie will likely lay the pipe for her big. One assumes her big return in Infinity War Part 2, or whatever that movie's called.
Yeah, and I'm excited about this one because, Marvel movies are fun, and I look forward to them anyway. But this one, Kevin Feige was saying, this one takes cues from 90s action films like Terminator 2.
Interesting.
I'm like, tell me more, Kevin.
Sign me up.
Tell me more. Yeah.
And they released a picture, I don't know if you saw, where they've de-aged Sam Jackson.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
He looks like he's about to be like, hold on to your butts.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
It's hold on to your butts, Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
Because this is like early to mid '90s, I think it's set, and yeah, it's going to be not only do we have young pre-eye patch Nick Fury, but also Agent Coulson will make his return to the movies, Marvel movies.
Huh.
Clark Gregg.
That's cool.
Yeah, and also Lee Pace, who was Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy. So Ronan will be back in this.
I know someone's going to be excited about that. Some Lee Pace fans out there.
some Pace heads. Some Pacers.
Yeah, Pace heads, yes.
Yeah, so the backstory here is Ronan is a Kree, right? They're blue, and Mar-Vell, who is played by Jude Law in the film, is also a Kree. So it ties into that backstory. I don't know how the film is using it, but in the comics, Brian, settle in. I'm going to give you some comic book history.
No, this is good. I like walking in with this information. Thanks. So thank you.
So when DC put Fawcett Comics out of business and the original Captain Marvel went away, that trademark lapsed, Captain Marvel. So right around then, Marvel swooped in and like, okay, well, we've got our own Captain Marvel, and they did that so that they could own the trademark to that name, which makes sense. If you're Marvel Comics, you want to own Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So the character they came up with was Mar-Vell, who is, again, played by Jude Law in the film. And he was like a Marvel hero for several decades, actually, from like, the mid-'60s to the early part of the '80s. And Carol Danvers, who's played by Brie Larson, was Ms. Marvel. So she was essentially, she got like a fraction of his powers, and then she became like the female equivalent. And then there was a story that Jim Starlin did. Jim Starlin also created Thanos and, the Infinity Trilogy. He wrote that. So he wrote a story called The Death of Captain Marvel, which has Captain Marvel exposed to a carcinogenic chemical or substance, and he dies of cancer.
Oh, wow.
That's the story. So he doesn't die heroically, like, saving the planet or whatever. He just dies slowly of cancer. And it was revolutionary. There had never been a story like that in comics before, and kind of impressive. That was in like the early part of the '80s. He has remained dead this entire time.
Oh, wow.
Usually in comics, you bring him back, and Mar-Vell has stayed dead. So Carol Danvers actually did not become Captain Marvel until the last like 5 years.
Oh.
Because she was a Ms. Marvel for the longest time, and you had a couple different characters become Captain Marvel. But I think in the comics they sort of decided, well, why she's a great character, why not have her be the Captain Marvel? Mm-hmm. And so and she's been apparently very popular in that role. I haven't read those comics. And then also in the comics, the character Ms. Marvel, the name Ms. Marvel, has been passed on to Kamala Khan, who's this Muslim Pakistani girl who, the first time we've ever seen that in a comic. And
isn't there talk of bringing her in eventually?
I have to imagine it's going to happen at some point. She's very popular. She's created by Willow Wilson, by the way, who's also a Muslim writer. That's you don't see that in comics a lot. So
yeah,
kind of interesting. I mean, more than anything, it's just amazing how many characters Marvel Studios has to pull from.
Yeah.
And we're at a point now where you realize they can sprinkle their fairy dust on anybody and they can turn it into a success.
Yeah, and when you say all these characters, I mean, they're a magnificent organization of all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously they are creating the mold as they go, but just their patience and their also the trust they've built with an audience, right? And having everybody follow along and knowing they can keep up, it's pretty marvelous.
Nice. There we go. I can't follow up on that. So instead I'm just going to throw us to a break. And we're back, and summer movie season is over, Brian.
I know, it's time to look back.
Yeah.
To reflect on the summer that was.
Now, this has been a tradition on this show, basically every year since we started. Since 2012, we always the episode right after Labor Day, we do like a look back at the summer movies episode.
Yeah.
And it's something I'd like to think people look forward to from us.
Yeah, so thanks, Chet.
I have no reason to think that's actually the case, but I'm going to convince myself of that because that's how I am. I prefer to live in blissful delusion.
Well, hey, I'm happy to be here with you.
It's how I roll, yeah. So now this is kind of interesting because summer movie season, it keeps moving back further and further. You know, there was a time back in the day where summer movie season started with Memorial Day. So it went from Memorial Day to Labor Day, but it kept getting pushed back. For a while, it was, first Friday of May. Mm-hmm. It's been the case, and that's still technically the beginning of summer movie season. But this year, we had Avengers Infinity War open the week before May. So they pushed it back by a week because there was that much demand. And that proved to be a disastrous decision for Disney because no one showed up.
I know. No one saw this coming.
No one saw it coming. No one saw it, period. And it died an ignominious death. I am, of course, broadcasting to you from Bizarro World where no one cares about the Avengers movies. As opposed to the real world where they make all the money.
Yeah.
So Avengers Infinity War. Now, this is a movie that I have seen. I saw it 5 times in the theater.
Oh, wow.
And I can't remember the last time I saw a movie 5 times in the theater. This is the first time I could think of since maybe getting married, where I was like, I have an afternoon to kill. I think I'm going to go watch Infinity War again. Mm-hmm. I can't say that's been the case for any movie for a long, long, long time. So that says something. And I would say I've grown to like it more every time I've seen it.
That's great. Yeah.
But it made $678 million domestically. Chump change.
Just domestically.
Just domestically.
Wow.
So in addition to that, it made goodness gracious, let's see. It made a lot foreign because when all is said and done, we're looking at $2 billion it made.
I was just gonna say, I think it's $2
billion. Amazing.
I just want to mention this also. The reason that we would look back over the summer is because it seems that the year is split up into different fragments of good offerings of movies, right? Like you have the summer that offers sort of the big popcorn blockbustery movies, and then you have the winter that offers the sort of award season movies. But what's kind of interesting, like you've already touched on, is that it seems like those barriers are melting away, and we have Avengers, which will probably be the biggest movie of the year in April, and then Black Panther, of course. You almost forget that was this year, but that was in February,
and it is like the number 3 movie of all time.
Yeah, so I mean, you have what used, January, February, March used to be thought of as like dump months. And now people are, rethinking what that means. And it's showing that people will show up if you put out the movie they want to see, no matter what time of year it is. So it's kind of interesting.
Now, you mentioned Black Panther, and I think it's worth pointing out here that Avengers has made $678 million domestically. Black Panther made $700 million domestically.
Oh wow! Oh, did it beat worldwide?
Not worldwide.
Okay,
Avengers worldwide is comfortably ahead, but domestically, Black Panther's ahead by about $20 million. My point is, anyone who tells you they saw Black Panther, A, becoming the number 3 movie of all time, and B, beating Avengers Infinity War domestically, they're out of their mind. Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There is nobody. Ryan Coogler did not see that coming.
Right.
That's
crazy.
That is bananas. That's extraordinary.
I mean, movies just don't make numbers even close to that domestically anymore. I mean, it's 300, 400 is like a wow sort of movie, but that 700 million in America alone, crazy.
I mean, Brian, up until, say, the early part of May, we would have said, that's Star Wars money.
Yes.
Up until the early part of May.
Oh, man. I mean, that's probably the biggest surprise of the summer, right?
Exactly. Up until May 24th, you would have said, that's Star Wars money. But
Right.
things have changed. Okay, so what else came out this summer? We had The Incredibles 2.
Yeah. Yep, Incredibles 2, which was, did you say that was the highest grossing film of the summer?
Of the summer. If you remove Infinity War, which is technically a, that was spring.
Yeah.
Than Incredibles 2. So Incredibles 2 is actually June. It came out in June. So we just hopscotched over the rest of May. But worth pointing out only because that's a movie that, again, you're talking about Marvel money. I mean, it made $600+ million at the box office.
Yeah, and people were skeptical when Pixar was saying they were going to do all these sequels, right? Because at one point, I mean, it was very, very few, aside from like Toy Story, right?
Yeah.
So then, Finding Dory and, Cars, of course, I think. Was that maybe when they first started really doing that? Like 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And...
But Incredibles is one of those movies that, like, people have been waiting for a sequel for The Incredibles.
Yeah, and I hadn't realized how long the distance was between 1 and 2. It was a longer
14
window
years.
than Return of the Jedi and Phantom Menace.
Jeez, when you put it that way.
Right?
Yeah, 14 years.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and so it's kind of interesting because the big stories have been, Infinity War and Black Panther, whatever. But meanwhile, quietly, Incredibles 2 from June on ended up making more than $1 billion worldwide. So, I mean, I guess the corollary I would draw is Marvel is that kind of brand. Marvel and Pixar are those brands that you just put out there, and the name itself is the franchise.
Yeah. And then people obviously kept coming back. I mean, sequels are hard to do, and they waited till they had something, and apparently it was the right thing.
Did you watch Incredibles 2?
I did. Yeah.
Did you like it? You liked it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. It was a good one, yeah.
It was also interesting because of the distance between the two films. I watched Incredibles 1 to prepare for it, and just seeing the leaps and bounds they've made in technology.
The animation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really something. But yeah.
And I wonder, I mean, I feel like there's room for a third one. I'm curious if they will pursue that.
I mean, it feels like they should.
Given how much money this one made, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thought I had was, knowing how well Incredibles 2 turned out made me more optimistic for the fourth Toy Story.
Yeah. I think if they hadn't had a quote-unquote conclusion in Toy Story 3, I think it just feels so perfully tidy.
Like you don't want to ruin it.
That's the thing. But otherwise, of course I want to see more stories with those guys.
Yeah, and that's the, I was thinking about this. I was like, look, if you're Disney and you own Buzz and Woody...
Right.
I mean, without murdering the metaphor, you don't keep them in the toy chest.
Right. Agreed.
But I'm sure we'll be talking about that as that gets closer. Now, just a few weeks after Infinity War was Deadpool 2.
Yeah, which did really well again, right?
Yeah, I'm curious how it did as compared to the first one. I mean, this one made $734 million worldwide, so
wow.
A little over 300 domestic. And that's kind of interesting to me because Deadpool, the first one did better overall, domestically, but I think they both landed in about the same place worldwide.
Well, that's impressive because I think, again, before we had seen it, people were worried that it might be sort of a one-trick pony sort of deal. Like, the novelty of it was what made the first one so successful. Yeah. But turns out the same amount of people went back.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because number one, the first movie came out in February of 2016, which is, at the time, before the math really changed, arguably because of Deadpool, that was like dead time. Like, we'll just put it out here, we'll make what we make. I remember being very confident that, well, if it makes 75 million domestic, they should call it a win. Deadpool won.
Yeah.
So don't believe my predictions about anything.
Right.
Right, but in the show of confidence, they moved the second one to the middle of May, and people were construing it as a disappointment because it didn't make the same amount as the first one. And I'm like, I don't know how you can look at $734 million worldwide and say that that's a disappointment. You know?
Yeah, and that's another thing too with Deadpool. Like, I feel like I know they do really well and they're very popular, but I still sort of think of it as this like niche sort of thing.
Yes.
For some reason in my head, but clearly it is not. I mean, those are everybody numbers.
Deadpool has become a beloved icon.
Right.
You know, and I always use my kids as a gradient because obviously they're not allowed to watch the Deadpool movies. They bug me about it every few weeks.
Oh, do they really?
They're like, can we watch Deadpool? I'm like, you can watch Deadpool when you are like staying over at a friend's house and you're watching movies you're not supposed to watch. You know?
Right. You know the drill.
You know the drill. Exactly. You'll get there. But, you know, we were at Walmart just yesterday, and I guess Walmart had a thing where all the Fox movies were given a brand new slipcover that's a Deadpool picture.
Yeah, I've seen this.
You know,
so
so
it recreates the original posters for
Yes.
like Office Space and Predator and whatnot, but
Yeah.
they've been sort of Deadpooled.
They've been
graffitied
Deadpooled.
stuff.
They've been
Yeah.
pooled.
They've been pooled.
Yeah. And so, you know, the kids were having a chuckle about that. And I was like, that's really funny to me because they've never seen the movie yet. They know Deadpool. They know his deal, you know.
Right.
Another massive hit. So shortly after Deadpool, now again, if you would have told me at the start of summer that Deadpool 2 would destroy the next Star Wars movie, I could not have believed you.
No, I mean, I was prepared for this one to not do quote unquote Star Wars money.
Yes.
Just because I could sense the fatigue even before it happened. And I thought it was like, hey, look, even if it does slightly under Rogue One,
Yes.
we still got to like look at this with some perspective. But I
Right.
was not prepared for the flop.
Right.
This would be
We're prepared for the perception of a disappointment
Yes.
versus an actual disappointment.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean the now Solo a Star Wars Story domestically made $213 million, which in any other universe you're like, hey, well that's pretty good.
Right.
Worldwide though it made 180 million. So sorry, foreign it made 180. So worldwide under 400 million.
Right. And also keeping in mind that the budget was pretty much doubled what they had anticipated because they filmed it twice.
Yeah, I keep trying to find like what the actual budget is, and what I'm seeing is about $275 million.
Oof.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when you think about it, like, you know, the budget for The Last Jedi was like $317 million. The budget for Rogue One was $265 million. So you can't fault Disney for being like, all right, you know, spend what you got to spend to get it right.
Holy cow. Wait, Rogue One cost $265 million?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
They need to get, I don't know, they need to rethink some things over
Clearly,
there.
I mean, but
No movie should cost that much money.
But when you're used to clearing $1 billion
Yes,
worldwide, you're like, all right, well, it's money well spent, right?
Sure.
And so they had no reason to think a movie with the word "Star" and "Wars" in the title that wasn't a cartoon wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and you and I, as people who listen to the show know, we had the opportunity. You invited me up to go see it early, so we saw it before most people. And
We saw it
walked
like
out
2
of
weeks early.
2 weeks early, and we were like, "Well, that was fun."
Yes.
And so we had this like kind of rosy take on it, and it was to our surprise that the world would not join us.
And you know what's funny is this is like it's coming out on digital like in a week, and people are going to discover it, and it will be a beliked movie, if not beloved.
I think so too. I was surprised how many people saw it a month or two afterwards, and were like, "Oh, well, that was fun." I'm like,
Yes.
"Well, yeah. Where were you?"
Yeah.
You know?
Where were you when the franchise needed you, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's only a matter of time, and that is the one very narrow shaft of silver lining that we have here, which is that like they're going to be making money off this thing forever.
Yeah.
People are going to be watching it forever. Like I don't have any investment in how much money they make, but I do think it's a good movie, and I would hate to see it just ignored. And this isn't, you know, some fly by night series that nobody cares about. People are going to be watching Star Wars movies forever.
Right.
So, it will be watched.
Yeah, and it also does make you realize if a Star Wars movie is coming out every year or every other year, like, look, not all of them are going to be breaking records. You know?
Yeah,
Some are going to
true.
do better than others, and we have to calibrate our expectations a bit.
And the one thing I will say is we have this long gap now until episode 9,
Right.
and I'm kind of liking the anticipation of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
Like, we got to wait more than a year, and suddenly, like, that's new unexplored territory for us.
I know. Well, and it's gonna, inevitably we're going to then start counting down the days once we get closer and closer because we've had some time to, get excited.
Yeah, so that's the one upside. I would I'm curious if they have plans to sort of develop or pick up on some of the threads that were left dangling at the end of Solo.
Yeah, I don't know. See, yeah, they clearly had something in mind.
Yeah.
So-
And I'm wondering what comes next, and I'm also wondering what happens with the spin-off movies. Does Ewan McGregor have to keep sitting by his phone for the foreseeable future?
Hello. Yeah, I don't know.
Wrong number.
Yeah.
All right, so shortly after Solo, we got Ocean's 8.
Yes, which I caught. I'm looking at my schedule here. I caught it months later, I guess.
You saw it through the benefit of Movie Pass, RIP.
Oh, yeah. I was going to talk about that. Yeah. Brian's whirlwind romance with Movie Pass.
That's really
Yeah.
funny.
Ocean's 8. It's like a fine HBO movie. That's what that ended up being, I think.
That's exactly right. It's entirely, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
Now
yeah.
Ocean's 8 is a perfect example of spending exactly the right amount. That costs $70 million.
right. Wow, that's
Which-
amazing with all those
Yeah, I'm wondering.
impressive cast.
Well, and I think that says something about the pay disparity in Hollywood. Right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
I also wonder if they took gross points in lieu of a pay up front. Like I wonder how that works.
Probably. I think that tends to happen with these sorts of movies, right?
Yeah, like
You have
Ocean's
huge ensembles.
Ocean's 11. How much did that cost?
I don't know. What was that? Was that 2000? 2001? Something like that?
Can you believe that?
Wow.
Ocean, yeah, it's so funny to talk to talking to my students about Ocean's 8, where I'm like, well, you've seen the other Ocean's movies, right? And they're like, oh, no, what are those?
Oh, wow.
And it's like, yeah, well, the last one was 2007, so I guess it makes sense
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
But Ocean's 11 cost $85 million in 2001.
Wow.
So this one cost $15 million less, however many years later.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I think that's they spent the right amount of money
Yeah.
because the movie is entirely adequate.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Agreed.
they should just call it Ocean's Adequacy, because that's basically what it is. Now, Hereditary is getting a lot of talk. I have not seen Hereditary. Did you see it?
Nah, we're not big horror guys.
We
so
aren't.
I'm sorry, we're not the podcast that we're not gonna be catching you up on The Nun anytime soon.
Although that's
Sadly.
apparently doing really well this weekend.
I know, tracking to 50+ million opening.
Yeah, but it's been kind of interesting to see the reaction to Hereditary. A lot of people are talking about Toni Collette in Oscar terms,
Wow.
which has me mildly curious about it. And there's a movie that obviously they didn't spend that much on it, but got people talking.
Yeah, every now and then going back to the beginning of the year, like I can get into some of these more creepy movies, sort of like The Babadook, or I enjoyed that. And then A Quiet Place, of course. I mean, that's not part of our summer discussion, but that was early in the year and a surprise hit,
Yes,
right? So, I don't know. Every now and then something like that hits.
every once in a while you get something interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. End of June that one came out, and the massive hit.
Yeah. I mean, I wondered because the first one, I mean, who saw that coming? We've had Jurassic Park sequels that have done fine,
Yes.
right? But the last one was a phenomenon. So
Yes.
kind of wondered if it would follow suit with the sequel. And I mean, I don't think it made as much, but it certainly
But
everybody came back. Most
it
people
made
came back.
1.3 billion worldwide. So I mean, that's kind of the funny thing because the reaction to this movie has been very, very polarizing, and you know, we talked about it. You and I both kind of viewed it through the same prism, and I think we came away satisfied through that same prism.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's changed, almost changed genres from
Yes.
like sci-fi thriller to sort of like monster movie.
Yes.
And some people just aren't happy with that, and I completely get it. But I think for me, you know, sometimes we always say this. We said it earlier in the episode. The thing you loved will always be there, and then sometimes it evolves into something else for other people. And that's easier to say than to actually feel sometimes. But for some reason with this, I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, obviously, I've talked before about how, you know, it's something I take my kids to, but I'm not alone in that. Like that's what I've realized just talking to people is that the Jurassic brand has become a family event.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
And that's why these movies are doing so well. Because I, you know, I draw that Star Wars connection. Like it's just a thing. Oh, well, this is a thing now that I'm going to take my kids to. And I think Universal realizes that. They're very smart about that, you know?
Right.
So that's been, you know, because I took some grief because I gave it a good review. And I that review was sort of, oh, it was, you know, my kid was watching it like this. And I really made him a heavy presence in my review. And somebody was like, well, then it's not your review, it's your kid's review. And I'm like, well, I'm reviewing my experience, you know?
Yes. Right.
And I think that's a valid part of how to view this movie, which is it's for kids.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and I don't mean in the sense that it's kiddish, but it's meant to be something, an amusement park ride, which we talked about when we talked about the movie.
Yeah. There's certain movies. I know that's sort of your, like you say, you have that lens with your kids and sort of enjoying it through their enjoyment. And yeah, there's certain movies where like I know they're kind of dumb, but yeah, it was a fun ride for me. And it's like, well, you know, like it's a different sort of thrill, and you're not going to get the same sort of characters and you know,
Yeah,
maybe, even like elaborate, complex set pieces as the first one, but it's a different thing.
It's a different thing. You know, the original Jurassic Park will always be the original Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So there.
I also want to mention another movie before we get out of June. Won't You Be My Neighbor? The Mr. Rogers documentary.
Man, I still need to watch that.
That movie grossed over $22 million.
Yeah, one of the most successful documentaries ever made, I want to say.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was something I had interest in anyway, just because I grew up with Mr. Rogers, and to this day, whenever he pops up in some sort of story or meme or whatever online, I always enjoy reading it. But I had no idea that this was going to be the thing that it did, and I know a lot of people that saw this movie. So again, I mean, I can't imagine anyone ever thought this was going to make over $20 million.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that it did. It's nice to see someone who's kind of kind and thoughtful and generous spirit. It's nice to know that he really was that person through this documentary, but it's nice to see that people are still interested in a person like that.
Yeah, very rare.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I have not seen it yet, but I'm hoping to very soon.
Yeah.
Another big title this summer, or it was mooted to be a big title, didn't pan out that way, was Skyscraper.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up because of Rampage, which was April.
Yes.
But yeah, Rampage was kind of a modest hit, right? But Skyscraper just did not perform.
Yeah, so Rampage made wrong Rampage. Hold on. So just looking at the box office here, Rampage cost 120, and it didn't clear that domestically. It made 99 million domestically, but another 326 internationally. So 426 worldwide.
Okay.
Right. So I think modest success. Yeah. Skyscraper cost 125 million, and it made 67 million domestically.
Ugh.
So it barely made half of its budget domestically. And this is another one. I saw the trailer. I was like, oh, well, that's going to be another success for The Rock.
You just assume. I mean, like you said, we were saying earlier with The Rock being a genre, like clearly it's a genre people are fans of, so you assume if he's in it, those same people are going to show up. But for some reason,
Yeah.
they didn't to this one.
They didn't. Maybe it seemed. Now, you did not see it.
I did not. I had very little interest in it, though.
I mean, I would have watched it. It's funny actually because I was planning to see it, and then MoviePass was like, oh, it's like surge pricing for this. And I'm like, well, I'm not paying $8 to watch that,
Would even pay like half the price.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know that that's going to be worth my time, so I ended up skipping it. But clearly, a lot of people had the same idea. So this is now 2 summers in a row where The Rock has had disappointments.
Well, wait, what was the other one?
Baywatch last summer.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. I would be curious because I know I have my nitpicky reasons why I didn't want to see it, where I just felt like. Not in a snobbish way, but it did look just like another Die Hard, and I knew it wouldn't be as good as Die Hard. But also, I just didn't like the look of it. It just looked completely manufactured in a computer, and I'm like, well, then that's not thrilling. I don't really care.
Yeah.
And so I'd be curious if that played into what people thought, or if that's just me, or what made, the average movie goer avoid this. I don't know.
I mean, I think we're hitting that place where... I mean, it's just a victim of I'll catch it later itis.
Sure.
I just don't think... I mean, I look at something like Skyscraper, and if I have an interest in that, I'm like, all right, well, do I want to go to the theater, or do I want to sit at home and watch it on my giant 4K TV?
Sure.
Right. Not to say that everybody has a giant 4K TV, but a lot of people do. Well, certainly most people have big TVs now.
And the window from theater to your living room is much, much shorter.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, if I wait a few weeks, it'll be home before I even know it.
That's true. It's probably coming out in like a month anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm actually very curious. Let me check what the release date is.
Yeah, see, that's another one of those. Yeah, you're right. Like, if it was on HBO, I might stop on it because I've never seen it.
Yeah.
So I guess other people had that same feeling.
I mean, look, Skyscraper was released on July 13th, and it'll be on digital on September 25th, my birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I haven't thought about that movie since I walked past a bus stop picture of it.
Yeah.
And now the next thing I know, it's coming out this month.
So 2 months and 10 days from Cineplex to home. So why would you go to the theater?
I don't know. And if I was The Rock, because The Rock, he has admitted that he is extremely calculated on his worldwide success. Even he's like a huge star in China, and I think in some Instagram post was like, that's not an accident. I worked on that.
Huh.
So I wonder now, for someone who is as analytical as he is about his career, I wonder what you take away from this and how you get back on track. Like, what do you adjust?
I mean, you bring the budgets down. I would say. That, I mean, I don't think you need to spend $125 million. I mean, I think that what it really comes down to is it's The Rock plus a concept that you find interesting.
Yeah.
Right. So The Rock plus, Jumanji,
which looks funny.
Right.
Yeah.
So something that plays to his strengths. Like, I don't know what the formula is. I mean, clearly he's in a position that very, very few actors are in these days, where he is by himself. As Mike said, he is the genre, and you can't say that about the vast majority of movie stars today.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. But what's next for him?
Well, he's doing the Jungle Cruise.
Yes, that's right.
Movie for Disney
with
Emily Blunt, I believe.
I'm curious what that's going to look like.
Yeah, I don't know how you make that feel like a thing you need to go to, but I'm sure Disney has that already figured out.
I'm pretty sure I asked that same question like 6 months before Pirates of the Caribbean. So
yeah.
So,
and then I think he's doing Jumanji 2 as well. 3, I guess.
Jumanji 3, yeah. Jumanji 2 for him.
Yes.
3 for the world, and 4 for the money. So, or he's doing it for the money.
Hey, boom.
But so Skyscraper was a disappointment. Another disappointment, although I can't imagine they were expecting to make much off of this, was Sicario 2.
Yeah, which didn't seem like a sequel-y movie.
If ever a movie didn't need a sequel, it was Sicario, which I thought was a tremendous movie.
Yeah, I gotta watch that again. My brother just recently was like, dude, I just rewatched it. You gotta rewatch this. So I remember liking it. I just don't remember a ton about it.
Yeah. Now that being said, Sicario 2 made more domestically than the first one did.
Interesting.
Yeah, not by much, because the first one made like 46 million, second one made 50 million.
Okay.
I think worldwide, the second one did slightly less, like 10 million less. But I mean, on its surface, now admittedly, I didn't see it. I didn't see the second one. I didn't see Day of the Soldado, although I wanted to.
Jackie.
I know, it's very disappointing.
I didn't see it either.
And it's, again, the first one was one of my favorite movies of that year. Denis Villeneuve, I mean, he's like immediate buy-in for me. Any movie he does, I'll watch it.
Yeah, same.
But second one, Denis Villeneuve did not come back. Emily Blunt did not come back. So it was all about Benicio del Toro's character. Now, that being said, if you're going to spend this much and make this much, I don't see it as a problem. I mean, $35 million budget, that's exactly what you want to spend on a movie like this.
Right.
You spend 35, you make about 75 globally, and you file it in the win column.
Yeah, and then it airs, and you sell TV stuff.
Yeah, it's
That's
all
the way to do it.
That's the way you do it, exactly. Another Marvel movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, which just crossed 600 million worldwide.
Wow.
So that is a definite step up from the first one.
Marvel and Disney better have an impressive Christmas party this year.
Right?
They have no excuse.
Now the first Ant-Man made, let's see, worldwide, the first Ant-Man made about 519 million. And the second one, I think once all is said and done, it'll be like 610 million. So about 100 million more worldwide.
Which is funny because we were talking about Solo as why couldn't that be the Ant-Man of the Star Wars universe, right?
Yes.
It doesn't have to perform like saga story numbers. But anyway, that's not going to be the case. But Ant-Man is still the Ant-Man of the Marvel movies.
I mean, well, this is
sequel
the
did
thing.
even better.
If you can make a movie about Ant-Man and make it have it earn $600 million,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the magic touch. Because I've said this before, man, even Marvel fans didn't like Ant-Man before these movies started. Ain't nobody an Ant-Man fan. Come on now.
That's funny. And they're like, whatever will we do? How will we get them to love this unabashedly?
Yeah.
We'll hire Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, he's the guy.
Genius.
So I fully expect that there will be a third one. I can't imagine there won't be, and I hope there is. I hope they keep it going.
Yeah, same.
I saw a tweet from Peyton Reed maybe a month or so ago where it's like a Band-Aid package, and it has a picture of Ant-Man from the movies on it, and he's like, "This is why I love making movies," or something like that.
That's cool.
And then and I a couple of years ago, my oldest son and my youngest son both dressed up as Ant-Man for Halloween.
Oh, I remember those pictures.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
So I had a picture of the two of them together, and it looked like Ant-Man and Giant Man next to each other, And so I tweeted that at him, and I was like, "Here's another reason I hope you like this." And he's like, "Oh man, I love it,"
That's awesome.
And I was
Good for
thinking,
him.
I was like, "That's got to be cool. Like, you make this thing, you put it out into the world, and then you see like little kids dressing up as it,
Yep. That's got to be the. I mean, I don't know how it gets any better than that.
Right? Specifically, my kids. I think,
no better.
He's like Zacky's kids. Sweet.
We did it.
So another Marvel success, as you've said before. Oh, Marvel. Oh, okay. So this is going to be a success. It's coming out.
Yeah.
And we'll move on. A few months later, it'll be the next success, and I will say this though. At this point, I feel bad for whatever Marvel Studios movie flops.
Oh yeah. What's the first one to
To be the solo, to solo it up, yeah. I mean if it's like, dude, even Ant-Man was a success. What did you do?
Yeah, what do you got to do? I don't even know at this point.
At this point, people are lying in wait for that.
Yeah, I mean, think about the pressure though too of even if you have these successful things like a Thor or whatever, and you're like, all right, we got to make another one of these things that's better than the last one, and everyone really loves the last one.
It's true.
Gosh, the pressure over there.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I think, if we're talking about the difference between like Marvel and Star Wars, I think what we're realizing with Star Wars is there is a point where you just saturate people's, not necessarily their affinity, but like the need to just run out and see it, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, what Marvel has done, which is so brilliant, is that, we tend to think of Marvel, the MCU, as one big franchise, but it's really not that. Mm-hmm. Right? It's a series of these little franchises.
Right.
So, like watching Ant-Man and the Wasp, for example, we're not like, oh, we just saw this a few months ago. It's like, no, you saw something else a few months ago, but last time we saw this was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So it gives you, both the anticipation of, we're right back into this again, but it couples it with, but it's been a while since we've been back in this.
So if you think about it, they've given legitimacy to the crossover episode.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
Yeah.
Right, because even, like, there's a difference between seeing Iron Man in Avengers versus doing an Iron Man movie.
Yes. Right.
There's a difference between Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
So I think they've just figured it out.
Yeah, I know. So I am completely interested what the first misstep is going to be.
I know. I'm almost horrified for when it happens because it's going to be...
Way to bring it up.
It's going to be like think piece galore,
Yeah, I know.
Now, that being said, I want desperately for DC to figure it out and be... Like, I want them to have this level of success.
Oh, man. Same.
I'm hoping. Now, Brian, this is a movie you saw, which I did not see, but it was pretty substantially successful. Eighth Grade.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up for a couple of reasons. One, it was good, and it's a very small movie and about a girl in eighth grade and just her life, slice of life sort of movie, and it made $13 million so far.
Yeah.
But
it cost actually more than Skyscraper to make. So
yeah, I know, but it's all on screen, so... But Bo Burnham wrote, directed, first movie. I mean, it's and it's interesting for several reasons. One, I feel like with Won't You Be My Neighbor, with Eighth Grade, and then I was going to bring up Three Identical Strangers.
Yes, which they're turning into a narrative film. I saw, which
I buy that. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That one that also did fairly well. I mean, like 11, 12 million, something like that.
Sure.
And
by the way, the narrative movie, if you don't get Armie Hammer to play the triplet, I mean, what are you even doing at that point?
Yeah. He's like, I got this. Let's go. But this was, these are three smaller movies that did pretty well, and I feel like most people were at least semi-aware of them, and I find that interesting for several reasons. One, I feel like this was the summer of MoviePass for a lot of people.
Yes.
And it did get them to go see things that they wouldn't normally have gotten out of their house for. Because all three of these movies are something you could have comfortably waited to watch streaming at some point.
Yes.
And I do recall, in particular with Identical Strangers and with Won't You Be My Neighbor, I remember being in line and everyone pulling out their MoviePass.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. But also, I mean, these are the type of movies that people were worrying were going to die out and be relegated to streaming services. And it's kind of cool. I mean, look, these are smaller numbers, but they cost less and they performed, relatively well. So it's encouraging to me to see these movies get their own legs amongst the Deadpools and the, Ant-Mans and things like that.
Well, and that's the trick, right? I mean, and we've said this before. I mean, this is where the industry has gone, where you've got room for these micro-budget surprises, and then your mega-budget preordained blockbusters. But we've just carved out the middle.
Yeah. And so it makes me wonder, and we've already talked about this, but I don't know. MoviePass, their infrastructure was something that could never sustain.
Yes.
But it did sort of work in terms of getting people out to the movies, and in showing if we look at how we attend movies or pay for movies in a different way, people might rethink what they go see.
That's a
And
good point.
so I'll be interested to see what this leads to.
Well, I mean, there's Cinemia. Is that what it's called? The thing you've signed up?
Yeah, that's my new romance.
That's your new. That's your.
Since
That's your new
left,
fling. That's your.
yeah.
That's your fall fling.
Yes. I have left MoviePass because the Cinemia, I don't know, Sinemia. It had a summer sale where if you buy for a whole year, they've been around since 2014, by the way, so it doesn't seem like they're going to crumble just yet.
Just yet. Hopefully, you get your year's worth out of it.
Yeah, but for $9.95, you get 3 movies a month, and here's the thing: you can go to any theater you want. So I can finally go to my ArcLight that's literally half a mile walking distance from my house. You can get for screenings days ahead. You can reserve seats. So I mean, it just feels like this is the perfect one.
So
aside from say
$9.95
like A-List.
for 3 movies a month.
Yeah, I mean A-List obviously has the better. I mean it's double the price, but you get 3 movies a week, right?
Yeah. So yeah, but no, if you non-AMC, people.
Scum, just say
Yeah.
it.
Well, I wasn't going to say it, but okay. You non-AMCers.
Yeah.
But it's funny because, I mean, even me, I mean, I've got the AMC A-List, and it's like, you're like, oh man, 12 movies a month. It's like, I don't have time to watch 12 movies a month,
Right.
I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 8th grade did very well, and I hope it means bigger, better things for Bo Burnham.
Ditto. And more movies like this.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, I think what I like is that it opens up a space for I hope more people to start writing movies like that.
Yeah, and to not feel like, oh, no one's going to make this.
Yeah, I remember when you were visiting last week. There was like a sale on Vudu, and it was like, Clerks and Swingers. They were both on sale, and I was like, hey, look, it's the late '90s kid trying to become a filmmaker starter pack.
Yes,
Because
it's so accurate.
right, how many people watched both of those and were like, I'm going to do that, and they wrote like really objectively shitty versions of either Swingers or Clerks or both.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So I'm like, if we see stuff that's a little bit more off the beaten path, that's certainly not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's great.
End of July, Mission Impossible Fallout.
What more can I say, Zach?
I was literally just about to say what else is there left to say about this movie? I was literally just about to say that.
This was easily my favorite movie of the summer. Certainly will be up in the top 1, 2, or 3 of the year. This is like the best version of a summer blockbuster, and I'm so happy that it did well. Also,
now, interestingly, it did not make more than Rogue Nation or Ghost Protocol worldwide.
oh wow,
So Ghost
I'm
Protocol.
walking back from what I just said.
Yeah, well, you're like, forget this then, clearly. But in terms of dollars earned worldwide, this is unadjusted. Ghost Protocol has done the most. Almost 700 million, and Fallout is number 3 after Rogue Nation. And Mission Impossible 3 made the least out of all of them, about 400 million, which I guess that's not that surprising. But
yeah.
because that was sort of the lowest ebb financially.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting, by the way, that MI3 made the least, and yet that essentially they made the decision behind the scenes like, we're going to double down on this.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting.
Because J.J. Abrams became producer, and just, the whole approach, really, like, technically, the most money made out of all of them domestically is number 2.
Yeah, which is the one that people look back on with the least admiration.
Right. So they could have easily, like, after 3, been like, no, obviously we need to go back to how number 2 was.
Yeah, someone call Limp Bizkit.
Right?
We're making another Mission Impossible.
Call Nickelback for this one, So that's smart that they didn't do that, and it's worked out. I don't really have anything left to say about Fallout. If you haven't seen it, it's great. It was, I think, arguably maybe second only to Infinity War in terms of being a movie that really demanded that you watch it on the big screen with the crowd and just have that theatrical experience.
I agree, and I was going to say, if anyone who's listening had any interest in it and still hasn't seen it, I highly recommend making the trip to a theater for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I concur. Now, just a few weeks after Fallout came, I think it's fair to say one of the biggest surprises of the summer, which is Meg, The Meg.
Yeah.
So
Did
this
not
one,
see that coming.
I mean, I assumed it would do okay.
Yeah.
It made 130 million. Sorry, it cost 130 million to make. It's only made about 127 domestically so far. It may just, kiss its production budget domestically, but it'll probably top out at about 500 million worldwide.
Yeah. Not that I had anything going against it. I just thought it was gonna be like, yeah, it's one of those sort of fun August things that does all right, and then we move on. But yeah, this was a huge hit.
And yet, I cannot find a single person who genuinely liked it.
I got one.
Oh, okay. Like, not unironically.
No.
Okay, well, there's one, I guess.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. That was the first, and they saw it a bit early.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't believe you. Okay. but then, yeah, now I listened to a couple podcasts and heard from a few people, and people, apparently, I thought it was going to be like a Sharknado.
Sure.
Or something, and it turns out apparently it's not like a parody or anything. Like it
seems like more of a Deep Blue Sea type of thing.
Yeah, but even maybe more than that. Played more
clearly,
straight than that.
I mean, clearly because it's made more money.
Yeah,
but like, I don't know about you, but I have a lot of affinity for Deep Blue Sea. That's not. I don't think it's high art, but it's one of those movies.
I somehow missed that one. I've seen it since, but I wasn't there on the ground floor with everybody else, so I don't have the sort of nostalgia for it. But
yeah, I mean, to me, I look at that and I'm like, if it's on, I'll watch it. Like that's Deep Blue Sea for me.
Sure.
And I can see the Meg occupying that space. Mm-hmm. Although apparently Jason Statham wasn't thrilled about how it was supposed to be like a hard R, and they cut it down to a PG-13. He wasn't thrilled about that.
Oh, I didn't even know it was PG-13.
Yeah, but I'm sure he's doing fine. This is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this will be the biggest hit he's ever starred in, just like on his own.
Wow. Well, hey, Transporter.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like on my way to a pun, and my brain just stopped. You know what? I'm
the Transporter got cranked up. There we go.
There we go.
And
I can see
Vin Diesel is furious.
Yeah. See, okay, look at this. Zachy picking up Brian's slack. I appreciate it. I just saw, by the way, the tagline on the poster is "Pleased to eat you."
I mean, come on. Come on.
Why didn't we see this?
I still haven't seen it, but I kind of want to just because of that tagline.
Actually, that feels like the theme, unfortunately, for August for us. We both had very busy Augusts, and we missed out on a couple things.
I had hoped to see Christopher Robin. I did not see that.
I would like to see that. That I'll probably wait for home.
Yes.
And then Crazy Rich Asians. Sadly, we still have not. Just life hasn't allowed us.
I think we may be the last two people in America who have not seen that movie.
I agree, and it's not for a lack of wanting to get there.
We will get there. So Crazy Rich Asians obviously is a huge success story. My gosh, $30 million budget. It's made $126 million just domestically.
Wow.
It's only made $22 million internationally, which means that I don't know. Has it opened in Asia yet?
I don't know.
Is the Asian audience outside of America like, no, we see crazy Asians every day, so we don't need.
I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting it to be that low international. There must be some sort of rollout kind of thing.
That's the only thing I can think of. It's got to have a staggered release, and I can't imagine, by the way, that even the studio expected it to do as well as it has domestically.
Yeah, no, I know some people who work over there in the marketing of it, and so I've been seeing those roll out through their Instagram pages and things like that for months. So I sort of knew they were really trying to build a huge buzz for this, and it was really cool to see it all work out.
And it's clearly worked. I know last week you had Crazy Rich Asians at the top of the box office, and then you had Searching in second place, which I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's the first time ever where you've had two movies with Asian leads at the top, in the number one and number two spots.
Wow. And I've heard Searching's really good.
That's what I hear. Yeah, John
Yeah,
Cho. I'm glad, like, John Cho, because he's been kicking around since, like, what was he in, like, Can't Hardly Wait? So, nice to see him in something that's just, a genuine success,
Yeah. Hoping to check that one out.
Yeah. And that brings us to the close of the summer movie season.
We did it.
lot of ground to cover, but we cycled through some good stuff that we enjoyed, some good stuff apparently that we haven't seen yet, but hopefully we'll get to that by the next time we record, I hope.
Yeah, now the summer season and travel and things like that are evening out. We'll definitely, or at least I know I'm speaking for myself, I'll be able to sort of stay on top of some of this a little bit better.
And you can put your Cinemia membership to work.
Oh, indeed, I plan to.
And we'll be back in our next episode. We'll be talking about The Predator.
Yeah. I have a little bit of trepidation with this, but I'm hoping to have a good time.
Well, there was a little bit of controversy. I don't know if you saw this, because Shane Black, who wrote and directed the movie, and he, of course, has a long legacy with The Predator because he is Hawkins in the original movie. Mm-hmm. He cast a friend of his in a bit part who is actually a registered sex offender.
Yeah. I was reading about that, and so first of all, I haven't really liked any of the Predator movies since 1.
Okay.
So that's also why I'm sort of like, eh. And then when hearing that, I'm like, geez, there's like just more stink thrown on this movie.
Yeah, that's a weird one, because apparently the actor whose name escapes me, but he had a scene with Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
And she found out that he was a registered sex offender, and so she basically told Fox. She's like, "What's up with this?" And so Shane Black's like, "Yeah, I knew about it, but he's a friend, and I just wanted to cast him." Which, like, dude.
Shane.
Yeah, right,
Stop.
exactly.
I really like you, dude.
Don't do that.
Don't do this.
Yeah, so now apparently that's being cut out, but you got to imagine Fox is not crazy about that, because the movie is literally days from debuting.
Yeah.
And that means all the prints have already been struck.
Yeah.
So they got to go through, they got to edit, right? That's a thing now.
That's the thing. You have to reopen, an edit bay, and but it's a little bit easier now when you have these DCP things that they just give to theaters. But I'm glad they did it. I think they did the right thing.
Yeah. But I hope it's good. I think, unlike you, I've been a little bit more forgiving of the various Predator films, but I would love to see this be fun. I'm certainly not expecting anything, because they're dumping it in the middle of September.
Yeah. I've just from the things that I've read, I've heard that it's funnier than you would expect, and I was like, well, that's kind of what Shane Black does.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it's funny because in the film they call the creature the Predator. And I found that, like, they're like, yeah, that's what we call it. And I'm like, that's just weird to me, right? That's like Sigourney Weaver being like, I escaped the alien,
Yeah.
Like, that's like a weird thing to, but...
Yeah. I escaped Alien 3 today.
Yeah, exactly. I'm worried about alien resurrection.
Right.
But that'll be in our next episode. And then coming later this month, we have our commentary track for Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom, right.
Temple of Doom.
Right. We'll get there.
We'll get there. So I'm looking forward to watching that one with you as well.
Ditto.
As we wrap things up, Brian, anything new you want to let the audience know about, or same old reliable?
Well, it is. Well, geez, same old, really?
Well, in a good way. Like I said, reliable.
I'm just kidding. It is official.
Yeah, third season.
It was in Hollywood Reporter, I believe. Season 3 of Puppy Dog Pals is on its way, and actually we are in full gear with that already. So I'm writing away some new adventures for some adorable puppy dogs that I think people will check out. If they check it out, they will enjoy it. It's on Disney and Disney Junior, Puppy Dog Pals.
There you go. And as for me, you can find me at my website. That's Zaki'sCorner.com, ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter. That's also my Instagram. And you can reach out to us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. If you have any questions or comments, send them there. Also, go to iTunes, leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps, and we love hearing from you. Also, I want to put out a little plug for the latest episode of the Nostalgia Theater podcast, which features my interview with author Mark O'Connell about his book Watching Skies, Star Wars, Spielberg, and Us. And it's a great book and a really fun conversation that I hope you will check out.
Cool.
And with that, I'm going to put a pin in episode 154 of the Movie Film Podcast. I am Zaki Hassan on behalf of my partner Brian Hall. I'll catch you next time.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Okay.